Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. At the moment I'm trying to learn new vocabulary in a foreign language as fast as possible, and I did this in the past but I kind of forgot it. So this video is more like to remind myself of how I've done that, so I would like improve more and keep up with my progress. And at the same time, I think by sharing this, I could help somebody out, so we could be learning languages together. Nice intro by announcing to people that you're selfish. Now they're definitely gonna watch you. So this video is specifically more designed for those who are trying to reach the level of understanding what native speakers are talking about. And one of the main reasons why we don't understand them is, of course, our lack of vocabulary. So later on, I'll introduce two methods that I've personally used a long time ago to help memorize new words quicker and more efficiently. And I should probably add that I'm more of a visual learner, meaning that I remember words when I see them written down, and I don't really remember words when I hear them. So yeah, that's just what worked for me and still works. So now I'd like to discuss with you on how to pick the right vocabulary, because our goal is to make new words stick right here, to make them stay long term, and not to, for instance, learn 100 words by heart, get an A tomorrow, and then forget, because it's just pointless. The way I personally pick new words is I ask myself, am I planning to use that word? A good indicator is, for example, to ask yourself if you're using it on a daily basis in your native language. And also the second thing is translating only words that prevent you from understanding the main idea. Like, never ever translate every single word. It's a disaster. And now I'm gonna show you a quick example. So what I'm gonna do now is basically mark only the words that prevent me from understanding the main idea. Yeah, and just read the text. So, and what I'm gonna do is translate the words that I marked. I guess I'm finished with translating already. I want to pick the words that I think I might be using. So I'm taking the marker. I think that suburbs, banlieue is quite important. Then what else? They probably write this one as well. To fall. So you're probably now wondering whether I like reading these texts, and this one was about fighting the obesity in schools of the US. And my answer is not really, but the reason why I do them is because I want to be able to read books in French one day, and I think this is a good start. And after finishing with these, because I have only a few of them left, I might buy like a children's book and start with that. And yeah, and you see, like, I marked here only 4 words, right? And it doesn't matter whether you do it with a text, with a book, with the movie, song, TV series, it's only words that prevent you from understanding the general idea and that you actually use on a daily basis. So yeah, like, it's simple, right? So finally we can start talking about the methods of how to learn new words. And the first one is by having a notebook, and this is like my daily planner, and at the end I just have my vocabulary section and I carry it everywhere I go. So this is basically how it looks. I have simply like here words in French and here words in English, and sometimes I write down some examples like sentences with a pencil. And yeah, this is how it looks. You can take a look like that, for instance. Davantage, right? So what we're gonna do now is to take the word that I'm learning. I want to learn banlieue, right? And I usually write down just like the way it is here, but I prefer to go on the online dictionary to search for sentences there. So this is what we're gonna do now. And you see the gender, and you see the example. It's quite uncomfortable, I must say. So, where is my, oh, it's here. I write down down the gender. I sometimes click here. Banlieue, okay. Now I'm gonna know that it will mean suburb. And the reason why you write down sentences is because it's just easier to like visualize everything, and yeah, you just learn to put them in the right context, I'd say. And here you have it. So let's revise everything once again. You pick the right words, you write them down here on the left. On the right side, you write down the translations in the language you usually think in, or the language you know best, right? And sometimes you can also add sentences as we did here, but it's not mandatory. And what you do is you cover this section and you read and you try to remember. When you don't, you look at it, you say it out loud and create the simplest sentence possible. And you say it or you whisper and you imagine, and this way they will naturally sink and you will remember them the more you repeat, of course. So now the question might pop up, like, how often should you revise? And my answer is, if you have just 5 minutes a day but you can do it consistently, it's more than enough. I'm not kidding, like it's true. And I want to give you a little bit of a backstory, which is when I was back in high school, there were days when my schedule was so packed that there is simply no other way around to get the stuff done and get good grades without working smart. So yeah, I just remember, like, wake up, get ready, go to school, come back, eat, practice, go to another school, come back, eat, practice, do the homework for the high school, and the cycle repeat. So yeah, it was tough, but what I would normally do is, let's say, watch a movie or read a book on the weekend, write down the new words, and when I'm going with public transportation to high school back and forth, I would grab my notebook and revise, and that was literally enough. And now I want to introduce you to another method of learning new words, which is by making flashcards. So I just took a better look and I realized that lutter and battre, they mean like the same thing, to fight. So I might learn just this one, which is baisser. And let's take a look. I already watched a few examples and I like actually this one the most. So what we're gonna do is write down this sentence basically. And I don't know this word, by the way. Quasiment. Okay. And that's why I like going online, because you can learn new words, like for example, or new structures like this one. Then you take this one and you just mark the word that you're learning. And you write down the meaning of it above in your language. To lower text, it's almost impossible, and I want to translate this word as well. And later on, you'd cut it like that. You have nothing special, very simple, everyone can do it. So we've already covered on how to make those flashcards, and now is probably the right time to discuss on how to actually use them. And I got the idea about this whole thing from one YouTube video. I bet the channel is called Learn English with Ronnie. And what that lady said is to make those flashcards and hang them in your bathroom on the wall or on the door. And this is exactly what I was used to doing. And I know it's very awkward, but I wouldn't necessarily share it if I didn't believe that it works. And the reason why I'm making this video is because you can actually see how those flashcards look, which is you see the sentence, you learn new words probably, you learn the language structure, like it's all in one place. And what you do is you go to your bathroom and you make a promise to yourself not to leave your bathroom without having read it and said it out loud. And now you're probably wondering, like, when do you need to take them off? The answer is actually very simple. You will know. And I should probably add that I use like a sticky gum. You take like this thing and yeah, basically stick everything. So now the time has come for the review. So the reason why I like these methods and why they work is because although they're very time consuming to make, what I like about them is that they create like perfect circumstances for you to work smart and to learn almost effortlessly. And however, as my dad taught me, if somebody comes to you and is like, here's the perfect business plan idea, we should do it, you ask the person what's bad that's going to come out of it. And if they're unable to answer, you can just take that piece of paper, do this, oh yeah, basically like that, and take it and throw it into the trash can. Yeah, I'll gather them later, because everything comes with advantages and disadvantages. And what I mean by that is that I personally think I've kind of overdone these methods, and my German would actually sound better at the moment if I just stopped translating all the time and focus on consuming content instead. Because I never really got out of the habit of translating in my head all the time. And what happens is that you see the word that you don't know, and instead of spending, I don't know, a minute of rereading the sentence 3 times to understand everything from the context, you go and translate. And it's not healthy. It's like your brain isn't really thinking, and it creates sort of like a panic attack when you don't know the word you have never encountered before. And I'd like you to think this way. Like, you can translate the language into another language, but how do you translate one culture into another? This doesn't really work. So later on, you'll have to simply forget about the existence of other languages that you've learned before and just fully immerse into the one you're learning, because otherwise you can't really become fluent, I guess. It's my personal opinion. I'd also like to add that the goal of this whole process is to get you into the mode of thinking in another language. And I'd like to finish with some interesting thoughts or lessons, whatever. The first one is that people don't actually care about grammar that much as we like to think. Basically, what they care about is that you understand them and they understand you. It's that simple. I also would like to say that you will eventually reach the level of understanding people as long as you keep going and don't give up. And I'd like to finish this video with one thought that a friend of mine shared, which is, you never know which language is going to be spoken once you pass away, so you better be prepared. And you can go and live your life now. I mean, I'm actually feeling like I'm a narcissist staring at myself in the screen all the time.